بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
And this is very well documented now. You get people who are born blind, people who are born deaf, who in a very extreme situation of near death, or they've had a catastrophic heart attack or a coma and so on, suddenly find themselves outside of their bodies, looking down upon themselves, whilst the emergency services are furiously trying to revive them, and successfully, of course, in these cases, because the people who are then revived, if they are deaf or blind in this instance, are then able to recount accurately what they saw and heard. And there are many cases like this. There's an academic paper produced by the University of Minnesota on the Library of Congress website, no less. I've seen it, where they've been through these instances and go through the different arguments. Well, what can explain this phenomenon? What natural, medical, neurological? And they've not found anything terribly persuasive, other than the self-reported, in other words, the Ghazalian sense of this person knows that they have left their bodies. They know there is no longer any fear of death for these people because they have transcended that. They've crossed over in a way and come back again. But the empirical third-person independent corroboration of this is now available in the doctors and the nurses who attend, who are then spoken to by these patients. They say, "I heard you say this. I saw you do this. But how's that possible? You're blind. You're deaf." But you're right. We did say that. We did do that, and we cannot deny that. What do you do with that phenomena? And because this is now seeping into the popular consciousness, particularly in the United States, where this literature is very widely available and online on YouTube, people are getting the idea that the materialist scientific narrative is not quite right. It gives us computers. Yes, it helps us to fly to places. Yes, it can give us cars and whatever. But in these other areas, there's mystery. There's something really interesting going on. And religion actually has already been there, and it tells us, the Quran tells us, that there is an afterlife. And so, there's an interesting overlap now occurring, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, near-death experiences, I've been always fascinated. I read a book by this Dutch heart surgeon. I think his name was Van Pimmel.
Yeah.
And that was some very fascinating research, and that opened the door to other research that I was trying to capture and understand. And if you're open-minded and rational, you cannot help but come to the conclusion there is no naturalistic explanation or scientific explanation to explain someone who is supposedly brain dead, someone who has their eyes closed, someone who may not have any brain activity, someone who is blind and can recall things that actually happened that had been verified by multiple witnesses, beyond any kind of discussion.
Which is literally impossible, and yet it happens. So therefore, we have to argue, I would argue, revise our paradigms. We need to move beyond the materialist paradigm to consider other paradigms, what I would call post-materialist paradigms. Give it a bit of jargon. And this, of course, opens us up in an interesting way to faith. It was up to what the scriptures say. And the scriptures speak very eloquently of this. And the information is already there. We will find scriptures meeting us on this journey. We don't have to kind of wander around aimlessly wondering what's going on.
Sure.
There is a pathway.